everybody, welcome back to the Bearded Bros channel. We have got a awesome install video for you. We're going to be doing the Corbeau, whatever, they're seats, okay? We're installing seats into the 11 to 14 S197 Mustangs. We're going to be showing you how to do the install. We're going to be showing you how to install the resistors for the airbag light. Everything that you're going to need in order to get these seats in here that do not have side airbags, we're going to show you today. So let's go. All right, step 1, open the car. Step 2, find your seats. Step 3, get rid of your girlfriend's cereal that's been in here for 3 months. Ugh.
Stupid Mustang.
Pants on the ground, looking like a fool with your pants on the ground.
Okay.
Got an itch?
We need to take off the wiring harnesses that are in here now, including the seatbelt position sensor, the airbag, and this doohickey. We will go ahead and take these out, put them in the other seat, make sure they're all put in correctly as far as underneath the seat for the new seat there. I just said seat like 12 times, catch that. And then we'll go ahead and do the passenger side, show you how to wire it all up and everything, and then we'll get you all set. So now that we have the passenger seat off, we need to remove the airbag belly that is underneath the seat itself. We'll get this out and we'll show you the install of it on the new seats. All right, so just to give you an idea, this is what your wiring harness should look like after you take off the passenger side. This is exactly what you're going to need in order to hook it back up without a passenger airbag light. So we are inside right now. I wanted to show you the airbag resistor and how this kind of works. So you're going to order these, and I'll put a part number in the description of what exactly you're going to need for this. But they're going to come in and they're going to look very similar to this. So they have obviously the connections on each side here, and then your resistor is actually going to be in here. So what you have to do, and I've already done it to this one, is you have to cut off the back end of it. And you'll see there's normally a resistor that's in there. I've already taken it off, but there is normally a resistor at the end there. There's 2 little wires that come out, and then you're actually going to take your resistor that you've ordered and you're going to put it onto the end of this. So I'm going to get the soldering iron and all the rest of the solder and everything, and I'll show you how to do that here shortly. All right, also finished product here. As you can see, not the best work in the world, but it's basically you're going to take out the old resistor. You're going to solder in the new 2 ohm resistor, and you're going to put some, electrical tape or something to cover these up. And that's essentially what's going to be your airbag resistor. All right, guys, so I don't know if you've showed you before, but these are the Corbeau. I gotta figure out what that name is. Anyways, these are the Trailcat Diamond seats. These are what we're gonna be installing into the Mustang. I'm going to show you how to install the bracket real quick. It's a fairly simple install as far as that goes, but I'll show you how to install that real quick, and then we'll get started on the actual wiring underneath. All right, so I actually looked it up. It's Corbeau, is what everyone is saying. So let's get these Corbeau seats installed for you guys. All right, guys, so seats are now, the brackets are now installed. Just a heads up, I did this and I felt like a complete idiot after I went ahead and got everything mounted. On the back side and the front side of these, when you go to install the sliders and the bracket onto the actual seat, there is a spacer that goes underneath this. I was putting it on top and it would not let the slider go all the way up and down. So please do not make that same mistake. Make sure the spacer that comes with the bolts is put underneath as opposed to on top. All right, you also, just an update here, we have got the seatbelt installed, the wiring harness routed, and that is going to plug in underneath the seat, so I'm not going to zip tie that quite yet. but we will go ahead and show you that when it gets back onto the car. All right, so now the airbag belly itself needs to be installed into the passenger seat. So let me go ahead and get that on real quick, and I will show you guys how we did it. Okay, so what exactly did we do here? So with the Corbeau Trailcat seats anyway, this thing actually fits like a glove. So literally all I had to do was just slide it up under this and then stack it kind of behind these. Same thing for underneath. So I was able to slide it in just perfectly and stack it underneath here. Do you need zip ties? Probably not, but just in case, we have one on each side, just kind of hold it in place. I know when I drive my Mustang, it gets a little swirly sometimes, so we want to make sure that stuff is in place. Guys, we are rocking away here. So this is going to be the airbag belly, as we saw earlier. Got that installed all nice and tidy, and then the actual bracket is installed on all four corners here. So we're going to go ahead and get this in the car, and then once we get it in the car, I'm going to show you how to actually disable the seatbelt chime, so you don't get the seatbelt chime when you say you're installing 5-point harness for this or something like that, or you're just retaining your stock seatbelts. You're more than welcome to go ahead and disable that chime. That way you don't have the annoying beeping every time you get in the car. Now, that being said, safety reasons, of course, we don't condone this, but you're more than welcome to do it regardless. All right, guys, so this part of the video, we're actually going to show you how to turn off the seatbelt chime light. Not all Mustangs are going to have to do this. Just in case, if you want to get rid of it, or maybe you have a 5-point seatbelt harness or anything like that you're installing, this is how you're going to turn it off. So with the seatbelt disconnected, doors closed, you're going to go ahead and turn the key to the on position. And you're going to get a seatbelt light. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see that little red dot all the way on the left-hand side. Once that light turns off, we are going to plug in the seatbelt and disconnect it 9 times with it disconnected at the end. So once this light turns off here, see if I can get a little bit better view for you. There's the light down there at the bottom left. So once that turns off here, we will connect and disconnect the seatbelt. Usually this takes about, I don't know, a minute or so till it goes off. And then we will go ahead and get this process started. Again, you don't necessarily need to do this, but just for the sake of, if you're going to install a seatbelt harness or anything like that, we want to make sure we show you an in-depth video regardless. Okay, so now that the light has been turned off, we're going to connect and disconnect the seatbelt. All right, your seatbelt light should come on. And then within 7 seconds, you're going to want to plug it in, take it back out. It's going to beep fast like that, and that means it has been disabled. Now, in order to enable it again, you literally just repeat that same process. So again, turn the car to the on position. Once the seatbelt light goes out, you are going to plug in the seatbelt and unplug it 3 times, leaving it disconnected on the 3rd time. Once your seatbelt light comes back on, within 7 seconds, you're going to plug it in and unplug it, and then it will start flashing rapidly. And then that means it has been either disabled or re-enabled if it's already been disabled. Yeah. And I'm also going to put a picture of the exact manual instructions for this process. All right, everybody, so we finally have everything done that we need to do, including the driver's side, the passenger side, the wiring harnesses, airbag resistors, everything that you're going to need in order to install these seats. We have got it done. I've shown you a step-by-step process pretty much as far as what you're going to need in order to get these seats installed. So let's go ahead, let's get the seats installed, and then I'll show you the finished product once we get them in. All right, you all, so we finally have the finished product inside the car here. These are again, the Corbeau Trailcat Diamond seats here. Absolutely gorgeous. So we're gonna go ahead and get in the car here. We're gonna do a quick little review. We got some errands to run. We'll get a little bit in depth as far as the actual seats themselves here. What is going on, everybody? So we've got the seats installed here. Christine and I are gonna go run a couple errands. As far as an initial review of the seats, the idea for these Corbeau seats was to get something that was as comfortable as the stock seats, but also be a little bit more aggressive as far as side bolsters for the thighs and the back. And I think we accomplished that. The Trailcat seats, they're not quite as aggressive as most of the other like FX1 Pro seats and everything like that, but they do maintain the same comfortability of your stock seats, which is kind of what we were looking for. So these are great for both long trips, so far as what we can tell, and they're also great for, you know, your average weekend warrior. And that's so far, that's what we were kind of aiming for. So as far as initial review, very impressed. We're gonna do a little bit more in depth as we run a couple errands here and everything like that, so stay tuned. All right, so Christina and I are running a couple errands here. We wanted to do a little bit more of an in-depth review of these things. You know, we gave kind of a initial review of when we first got in the car, actually tried the seats out and everything like that. For the purpose of the seatbelt chime and everything like that, we're only gonna be driving around, at least local anyway, without the seatbelts on just for right now. We're gonna buckle them up here in just a minute, just for safety reasons, of course. But as you can tell, we're driving right now, and there's no seatbelt chime at all, which is exactly kind of what we were hoping for. So if you're installing a harness or anything like that as far as seatbelts are concerned, this is essentially what's going to be. You're not going to have the seatbelt position sensor in, so your car is going to think that there's no seatbelt. So when you disable this light, it essentially doesn't chime, which is great. So that's exactly what we were hoping for. As you guys saw in the description I showed a little earlier, all that stuff is very easy to do. It doesn't take long at all. It only takes one person. Now, obviously, if you have two people, yes, it does make it easier. So as far as initial review, Christina, what do you think of them so far?
I like them. I think they're comfortable. The good thing that I first noticed was after you putting them in and them sitting in the hot car when we first got in, the seats weren't hot. I know what actual leather seats feel like, considering I have them in my car, and they're painful to get into on hot summer days.
Right,
so
exactly. So
that's nice.
And that's a great point. So these seats, they feel almost exactly like leather. That's one thing I do love about them, is they do feel extremely high quality, yet the price point on these really isn't that bad. You know, you can easily spend $1,000 to $2,000 on some Recaro seats out of, a GT500 or just a regular track package Mustang. And these were, we got these for, I don't know, $250 or something like that a piece. And yeah, it takes a little bit to install them, but like I said earlier, the comfortability is what we wanted to retain. And we wanted something that was a little bit aggressive. So, when we do road trips, like to Mustang Week and everything like that, we wanted something that was going to be nice, but we weren't going to be, oh, race seat, yeah! And, have our hurting by the time we were, an hour in. And no thank you. I would absolutely love that, as far as, if I was building a race car or, getting a really light seat or something like that to cut weight. But let's be honest, guys, most of you are going to have Mustangs that are daily drivers. You're not going to want to build a complete race car. And if you are, you're not going to care about an airbag light or anything like that. I mean, there's no point in even doing half this stuff. So the first thing that we have seen is the comfortability. That has been retained. And that is one thing I can't say enough about these seats. Has been absolutely awesome. Another thing is the aggressiveness. So yes, they are not aggressive or as aggressive as like some of these extreme racing seats like the FX1 Pro and all that kind of stuff. But they are aggressive enough, or at least more aggressive than the stock seats that we had. I know you guys saw those, and those were just pitiful. The base GT or anything but the track package, they're nice seats, don't get me wrong. I mean, they're like recliners, but they're just not feasible when you're in a track situation, or like a weekend warrior or something like that, and you want a little bit of hugging on your bolsters and thighs and stuff like that. So that is one thing I have to say has been absolutely awesome with these seats. So Christina brought up another good point. Clearly, as you guys can see, I'm a little bit bigger than her. It's kind of obvious. She made a good point that, what were you saying earlier?
Being smaller in, I guess, width, you could say, I sink in a little more to the back of the seat, but I still feel secure on the sides because it kind of wraps around me, being that I'm deeper in the back
Absolutely.
than I was in the old ones.
Yeah, so whether you're my size, plus size model, that's right, or you're Christina's size here, they will work. I mean, these were designed, I think the specs are like up to 38 or 40 inch waist or something like that. And I mean, they're extremely comfortable for me, and as far as her, I mean, they're still comfortable. So that is something that, as far as a customer base, is huge. Being able to meet a standard for anyone, for that matter, as we're kind of driving around town and everything like that. We are looking obviously to keep these for a while. We'll get you a couple of shots and stuff like that as far as the seats and show you a little bit around them. But other than that, I'm extremely impressed with as far as the price point. Corbeau itself as a company has always been huge on maintaining safety, things of that nature as far as seats are concerned. So I'm very, very impressed with that as well. So we overall, this is a great product for the price. So if you guys are looking to get some seats, install them in the 11 to 14 Mustangs, or even S197s in general, these kind of characteristics will apply for these same seats. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment below. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, hit that little bell, and let us know if you need anything else in the meantime. Thank you guys. We'll talk to you soon.